Hello and welcome back to Dynamic Digital World. My name's Luke and this is episode 86, the October update. We're changing to a new monthly release schedule. I've just found that works best for me. We'll talk about the latest news from the last few days in the first segment, and then I'll do kind of like a monthly news roundup after that. So all the news from September that wasn't included in my detailed analysis will go into a new segment, just quickly talking about it at the end. This is a new format I'm trying out. Doesn't mean there won't be other episodes throughout the month, like big events, but I'm trying to find a way that works for me to do this consistently, because that's been the biggest issue I've had recently. So we're trying a new schedule. So with the admin out of the way, let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about Xbox Game Pass's overhaul, the changes coming to Google Home, Google Nest, whatever Google decide they want to call it tomorrow. And we're also going to be talking about the UK digital ID system, which is interesting from a technical standpoint, and we won't be going into the politics of. Once again, I want to mention we have a no politics policy on this channel. We don't go into political discussions. Feel free to discuss the politics in the comments, but I will not be discussing my politics in this. So, without further ado, let's get started with Game Pass, which, this pains me. This pains me a bit. So, Game Pass has had a massive change here. Now, they've renamed all three of the kind of main tiers for Game Pass. So Game Pass Core is now Game Pass Essential. It's the cheapest version and it has the same price. So yay Essential, staying the same price. It's $10 a month, provides access to around 50 games across console and PC. Not bad. Unlimited access to Xbox Cloud Gaming and benefits for other titles. So, not bad. Could be better, obviously, but that's core. We've had that for a while now. Nothing's really changing. Xbox Game Pass Premium is the new name for Xbox Game Pass Standard. So it has all the same benefits of Essential, but it has access to over 200 games. So the over 200 games do include some new Xbox published games, but the biggest change here is that new Xbox published games will only be available within a year of launch. So you won't get them day one. No more day one releases on Premium are guaranteed. Now, that is kind of new, kind of not. So, it's not that you never really did get the day one releases in standard as far as I'm aware. I've never been subscribed to it. But you also never had a time frame for when you would get new games. So, with Premium, it is actually an improvement. You have a guarantee of new Xbox published games within a year of launch. And you have shorter waiting times for Xbox Cloud Gaming, because all three tiers now include access to Xbox Cloud Gaming. And Premium is staying the same price, $15 a month. So it's not bad, right? These first two are not where people have an issue. They've done good. For most of it, it's an improvement for the first two. Unlimited access to Xbox Cloud Gaming, but with wait times. And Essential and Premium both remain at the same price and now include PC games. Game Pass Ultimate is where things change for me. So I was an Ultimate subscriber until the changes were announced. Ultimate is adding a variety of changes. So Ubisoft Plus Classics catalog is being added to Ultimate. Cool. all the Ubisoft games are fun, so fair enough. The Fortnite Crew subscription is being added in as well, so you're a Fortnite player and you like your battle passes every month. Good value for you there, because just with Game Pass. And you do get new games on day one every single day, every single time they're released. So, Forza when it comes out, day one. Gears of War E-Day, day one. Fable, day one. However, the price for Ultimate before this announcement was $19.99 a month. The price of Ultimate, as of this announcement now, has increased to $29.99 US a month. That's about £22. It's the only one I know the direct conversion for. Quite frankly, that is a 50% jump for those of you in the US. And that's crazy to me. I have no other words. That's crazy to me. That's a 50% jump for you. It's worth it. I can see where that would be worth it for some people, right? For some people, that makes sense. But for me personally, that no longer makes sense as someone who is primarily a PC gamer. Now, we do have a conversion list, and I will read through these new prices for the UK. I managed to go through the conversions. So, for Game Pass Essential, you're paying £7 a month. Not bad. For Premium, £11 a month. And for Ultimate, £23 a month. That roughly lines up with exact currency conversions. In Canada, you're paying $13.99, $17.99, and $33.99. In the EU, it's $8.99, $12.99, $26.99, and in Australia, it's $12.95, $17.95, $39.95. So they're staying. So again, Essential and Premium stay the same. The only one changing is Ultimate and PC Game Pass. So Ultimate has jumped from $14.99 to $22.99. We've got a bit of a better deal, actually, in terms of the sheer jump. Actually, no, we haven't. No, that's just over a 50% increase for us, actually. But I don't mind too much in terms of, I think it's fair play with the extras included, and we knew this was coming. It just, I'm not too happy. I am not staying with Ultimate. I can't justify £30 a month, or £23 a month, $30 a month. I can't justify that pricing. But to me, that's just a bit too much of a jump for benefits that won't necessarily be wanted by most players. And PC Game Pass is going up from £10 a month to $13.49 in the UK, and from $11.99 US dollars to $16.49 in the US. So PC Game Pass is going up, but yeah. I think for what you get in Ultimate, it's a good price. Like, that price is a great price and is a very decent price. But most people likely won't be, like, the majority of people who are playing for Ultimate buy it for the day one Xbox published releases. Now, they've got 4 games coming this month. So if you don't want to play all 4 games coming this month, buy it. And you've got 4 games for a month for 30 quid instead of, what would that be, like 240 to 270, depending on 60 to 70 quid pricing. Not bad. Like, it's actually not bad just for pay it for the month you want it and then get rid of it. But if you're someone who's normally just subscribed every month and keeps their monthly subscription, that can change massively depending on if you want those Ubisoft benefits and the Fortnite benefits. Because if you don't, then lots of the games, apart from the day ones that you are used to having access to, are still available to you in the premium plan. And there's not too much changing, because you also know that if you're willing to wait a little bit and have a bit of patience, you can play games within a year of launch, which for some people, including myself, quite frankly, that will work better for. I love the games Xbox release. I play almost every single game they do release. But the fact is, for me, that I can happily wait a year and just take a year to play my games. I'm someone who likes to enjoy my games. I don't want to be rushing through games to get to the next game, right? That's not what interests me when I'm playing games. I like to enjoy it. I like to enjoy the story. And for people like that who are willing to wait, I feel like Premium for most of them is going to be a better option than Ultimate. Because it's not a bad deal. Again, none of these deals are bad. They're all still the best deals in gaming. I'm not sure how pricing-wise they compare with PlayStation's. I'll be honest with you, I do not know. I don't follow PlayStation. But generally speaking, you still have more guarantees of the games you're going to get and the things you will have with these plans than you would have in any other situation. And you're just kind of better off, I think. EA Play is stuck to Ultimate and PC only, but again, I'm going to go for PC, and for those of you going for Premium, you've just had an upgrade to what you get. The issue I have with it is that Xbox are stepping on... I can't remember who it was that said it, but someone said that Xbox are stepping on rakes. And it's like that meme from The Simpsons, where Sideshow Bob steps on rakes again and again and again and again. And I have to agree with them, to be frankly honest with you. They have so many things going for them, and then they increase the price of consoles, and then they increase the price of Game Pass. And all of a sudden, their consoles are the most expensive on the market, and their subscriptions are the most expensive on the market. And whilst they may be the most powerful consoles, and they may be the most powerful, the best deals for what you get, most people aren't going to look at that. And I think that could lead to issues. We don't know why this was done. We just don't. Like, we might think we know, oh, they're just being greedy. We don't know what the actual reasons are behind these changes. We just don't. But, in my opinion, this isn't a great thing for them to be doing at this point when they are just gaining momentum. However, that is enough about Game Pass for me, to be honest. It hurts. It hurts cancelling my Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Honestly, I've had that thing for years, since they released it almost. So to cancel that does actually hurt a bit, because this is going to be the first month where I don't have a Game Pass subscription. But I think I need to vote with my wallet, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm telling Xbox that 30 quid is ridiculous when I don't want half the new benefits they've included. And I'm going down to PC Game Pass. That's all the news about Xbox and Game Pass I'm going to talk about. Let's go on to Google's announcements, because they have had some pretty cool announcements yesterday, and I am looking forward to trying them. Because Gemini is finally available on the smart speakers in your house. Or it will be, maybe, soon. If you're in a public test preview, is the understanding I've got. It's a complicated rollout. So, any of you who use a Google product or know how Google products work, you will be very aware that Google likes to roll things out in stages. It's what they do, it's always how they've done things, and it probably won't change for a while. But with that being kind of how Google work, it also means that some people have access to things months before others. And we've seen that Gemini on Google Home is going to be a big improvement. And this official launch does look massive. So let's start off with the hardware we have access to kind of now, right? So 2 new Nest cameras have been announced. They're 2K. I believe there's 1 outdoor camera, 1 indoor camera. And they do have Gemini features out of the box. So if you buy them today, you'll get Gemini features today. And I'll be honest with you, I believe it's mostly just about recognition and things like that with them, but they're still cool, you know, they look good. And something actually really cool that they've done is they've opened the Gemini platform. So Gemini for Home will be available on third-party platforms, including Walmart. So for the first time ever, a third party will be able to make a camera that has Google features built in. The reason why I specify a camera is because we've had third-party Google Assistant displays when Google Home first launched. We had a couple there, and then it kind of dropped off. We might see some new ones coming in, new speakers, new displays, but even if we don't, just to see the cameras is kind of cool. So that's where we're starting today. Those are live. I want to say they're live today. I can't. They're definitely live for pre-order. So they're definitely live for pre-order. I believe in some regions they are actually able to be purchased today. You'll have to forgive me because I know UK, when I looked at it, it was open for pre-order yesterday. And they didn't have the actual launch date up on the site, so I couldn't see it. And I checked again today and I couldn't see the launch date either. So I think they should be launching fairly soon. Now before we talk about new speaker hardware, let's talk about something else that's kind of available today. Gemini. So for those of you unaware, Google Gemini is the evolution of Google Assistant. It is the dream we had, or the vision first shown of Google Assistant almost a decade ago now, was that Google Assistant on your phone would be your personal assistant, right? It would be able to book meetings, make calls, do all of these amazing things for you. And over the years, it has got there, right? Like, you have the ability to book a table at a restaurant using Google Assistant. You had the ability to ask it to perform a group of tasks around your home. You could say, keyword here, turn on bedroom light and start playing music on Luke's speaker and set the TV volume to 15 or something, right? Like, you could do all of those in 1 or 2 commands. And it was awesome. But it was never, you always had to kind of phrase your commands very specifically, right? Gemini is the evolution of this. So with Google Assistant, you had continuing conversations. So you would ask it a command, it would listen to your next thing, and then it would carry on. With Gemini, instead of having to kind of do one command, wait for it to process, and then do the contextual command for the second one command where you can just go, keyword here, turn on Luke's TV and set the volume for 20 and put it onto BBC iPlayer. And Gemini will process that entire phrase, pick out Luke's TV, BBC iPlayer at a volume of 15. And it will do all 3 of those things not instantaneously, it will never be instant, but it will do it very, very quickly. And it's going to be cool to see when it rolls out to my speaker, which I do have a speaker, but it hasn't quite rolled out to me yet. So when I get it rolled out to myself, I will be exploring this because it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes. And so this is the first software side, and then there's a second software side, which is the Google Home app. Has been revamped and redesigned, and it looks so much better. So the app has been a bit cluttered for the last year or so, I'd say. Like, it's been really cluttered for the last year. It's not cluttered. I have no other word. It's not cluttered anymore. It's 3 tabs, really simple and really easy to navigate. I have the new design on my phone. And I'm on it right now. So you have 3 tabs at the bottom. You have the home, you have the activity, and then you have the automations. So home is exactly as you'd expect. It's where you can see your devices, every device in an area. It's where you can see, make changes to lights, see what's playing on the different display. And then you have the activity tab, which is just a list of all the kind of things that have been done on every device you have that day. Nothing complicated, just exactly what you need to be able to see. And then you have automations. Automations are quite cool. I've got a few of these automations. Some of them run automatically, and others run when I say a key phrase, and they can just do different things. They can get my lights on, or they start music playing automatically. So say I'm about to start coding, I will do hello, keyword, and then I will say start my coding routine. And it changes my lighting to be a bit less distracting for me. And it puts on just coding music I want to listen to when I'm coding. And that, to me, is really helpful because it just means I don't have to spend 5 minutes doing all of that to make it work. It's just automatically done for me, which I find useful. And these new automations should be more powerful as time goes on because Gemini is more powerful. So we'll see how that goes. And then there's the new Google Home speaker, which, yes, is called Google Home, not Google Nest. They've rebranded again. They've gone back to the Home branding. Makes more sense to me, to be honest. And I think it's just cleaner. So Google Home is back. This new speaker is launching in spring of 2026. It'll be $100. It's spherical, looks like the new Alexa speakers and the new HomePod speakers. Looks like both of them basically. And it will come with Gemini out of the box. That is quite literally everything I know about it. If you want to see the design, it has been teased by Google. They have released images of it and stuff. It looks quite good. It looks sleek. But that's all we've got for new speaker hardware. The reason for that is just because they're updating all their old devices to have Alexa Plus. Sorry. I'm thinking of Alexa there. To have Gemini for Home. So when Amazon released their new stuff a couple days ago, they released a whole slew of new devices that look awesome. And those devices will come with Alexa Plus. I got a bit ahead of my script earlier. But Google are doing something different. They're not making you buy new devices to get access to it immediately. The first thing that will happen is it will roll out to every speaker they've released in the past. Google Home Mini, Google Nest Mini, Google Home Original. The first one they ever released will get Gemini access. Every single display they have, the Nest Maxes, everything is getting Gemini. And it's going to be a slightly staged rollout. It's not all going to happen at once, but it's going to be cool when it does. So that's all of the Gemini kind of related announcements. The last announcement that they did do is that Google Nest Aware is becoming Google Home Premium, and Google Home Premium will be available as part of the Google AI Pro plan. So if you've got Google AI Pro, for example, you're a student who should definitely be taking advantage of their 1 year of AI Pro for free deal. Any UK student, do it. I think it's sometime in November. If you sign up now, you will get a year of Google AI Pro for free. You don't have to pay. You have a year of it for free. It's really good because you get access to Gemini Pro. So you might as well take advantage. But yeah, so that's kind of all of the announcements from Google about that. Obviously, they had their Pixel announcements, which will be in my roundup podcast tomorrow. But let's talk about digital IDs in the United Kingdom. So I like the idea of digital ID. Like, my opinion on the technology is a digital ID is cool. It's a cool option to have, right? It's nice to be an option. But, and it follows on with what I said about the Online Safety Act, where trusting the government to handle our data securely, I should say, is risky. There is an inherent risk with the government digitally holding our data. That risk already exists today, right? But this adds another layer to that risk because it's not something that just exists on one device, right? There is a server that hosts it, and there's a way to communicate that data, and double check that data. And that's kind of just able to be done by scanning a QR code that verifies it. That inherently means that the data is always accessible and there's no special... There are protections in place, but you know what I mean? It's not as strict as their prior protections that used to exist for checking a driver's license as you would do it today. Could it be convenient? Yeah, of course it's convenient to be able to just scan someone's ID and see, okay, yep, you've got this approved, not approved for this. Yeah, cool, useful, but it comes with an inherent cybersecurity risk that, whilst I do believe the UK government will try their best with, we've also seen UK government cybersecurity or just cyber in general plans go massively over budget. The UK government is very well known for going over budget on technology spending. We saw it with the track and trace system, which was a whole other mess that I don't even want to ever get into. Let's just say that they used a very old version of Excel that had a row limit. That meant we misinterpreted our data for a few months. There are so many examples of issues that have occurred with UK government technology products. The recent cyber attack on TfL, another UK government program affected by cyber issues. And that was a serious one. That knocked out TfL for months. They are still in the recovery phases even today. They're still not fully recovered. And it's been a very long time since that occurred. So, yes, there are reasonable concerns that reasonable people will have on this technology. I'm not against the idea of digital IDs. I like the idea of digital ID because it's one less thing we need to carry with us. But my one request to the government is please make sure the cybersecurity is there. If the cybersecurity isn't there, then whatever this is used for, it has the ability to also be used in very damaging ways. The way they're saying it will be used for at first is simply just your right to work checks. So instead of, having to send over your driving license and send over your birth certificate and send over your passport, you just have a QR code that gets scanned and you do a face scan and they check those things match up and they check that you're approved to work in the UK and you're approved to work. But there's kind of an issue with this, and I spotted it almost when it was first announced. That is very, very easy to manipulate, right? So let's just say someone were to hack into somebody else's digital ID and get access to that QR code, right? They get access to someone else's digital ID QR code. Okay, they've got half the equation. The second half of the equation is the facial scan. Realistically, we've seen these things that are not using infrared get tricked. We've seen it happen time and time again. A simple face scan that doesn't use any sort of infrared to check that it's the person there in front of them can be tricked. Technology is getting better every time. It's getting more reliable every time. And you can make it so that they have to say a specific phrase. But the security of this is going to have to be airtight, because your job history is linked to your credit reports. It's linked to so many things. It's linked to your bank details. It's so important that this is dealt with securely, and that there are fallback methods in place for when irregular changes are detected by the system. That's kind of all I have to say about it, really. Again, as I said, I'm not talking about the politics. I'm just talking about what it is, what's happening, and what's going on in the world. So those are kind of the main stories I'm going to talk about today. And that's everything for today. A quick, just 2-minute roundup of kind of the biggest news from September. I think we all know what I'm going to mention here. Google Pixel 10 series and the iPhone 17 series. Hey, the camera bar's popping off. Well done, Google. Years ahead to the trend on that one. Apple now have a camera bar on the back of the iPhone 17 series. It looks very nice. I have to admit, the design is brilliant. But actually, no, I have no buts. Yeah, it looks good. The phones look good. The prices are about the same as they were. Same to be expected. The only one I'm not sure on, iPhone Air. It's $1,000. You get one camera. Same as all the issues were that people had with the S25 Edge. All those same issues stay. So, yeah. And then you have the Pixel 10 series, which has also been launched by Google, this one. And it's good. It's a nice upgrade. They've, again, just slightly refined the design a bit. It's a little bit more powerful than last generation, but again, it's Pixel. So it's less powerful than the previous generation, than your standard, right? It's not as powerful as your iPhones or your Samsung phones. It never has been, and to be honest with you, it never will be. That's kind of how it works. You are never going to get something as powerful as an iPhone from Google at this point. They don't really price their phones to match that raw power performance, but they do price it to match how it feels in the hand when you're using it on a day-to-day basis, I will say. From what I've seen, it's a very smooth phone. And they actually have the T2 magnetic chargers in the back of the phone. So, for the first time with a mainstream Android phone, and I am calling Pixels mainstream because the number of people I've seen with a Pixel on the streets is just kind of very slowly trickling up. Just when you're on a bus, you do see what people have on them, and I've seen a good number of Pixels. Same for at uni. I see a good number of Pixels. So Pixels are picking up. They're reaching that 5% mark and climbing. And now that they've got those, as Google are calling it, Pixel Snap magnets in the back, they're getting that a little bit closer to just kind of fully finished product. Their charging speeds are not great. Never have been great, never will be great. Again, just going to say it like that because that is how it is. But yeah, that's kind of just a quick roundup. Again, I'll do a more detailed roundup within the next few days. Probably sometime next week, not this week. Got a lot to do over the weekend. But this is Standout Digital. My name's Luke, and thank you for listening. I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next episode.